Well, hello. We're very happy to have two very distinguished guests with us for a very brief interview. First is Dr. Stephen H. Kolison Jr., who became the 14th president of the State University of New York at Fredonia. Started his duties on June 29th, 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic, which must have been quite challenging, and we'll discuss that. Dr. Carlson has a distinguished record of serving in faculty and leadership positions, and I could give his resume now for about the next half hour, but I just want to single out one thing. He was at the University of Indianapolis, UIndy, from April 2017 until August of 2020, and under his leadership there as chief academic officer, UIndy conferred its first degrees in industrial and system engineering, mechanical engineering, and software engineering, and he worked with the faculty to plan and offer 10 new degree programs, including electrical engineering, general engineering, and data analytics, and that just barely scratches the surface. President Collison, it's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
And we're also happy to have with us Rob Deemer, faculty member at Fredonia. He's the recipient of the 2018 ASCAP Deems Taylor Virgil Thompson Internet Award. Rob is a composer, a conductor, an educator, an author, and an advocate, and his works have been commissioned all over the place, from the Buffalo Philharmonic to the University of Texas, the Rasher Saxophone Quartet, and so many other soloists as well. And this jumped out at me from his resume. His work as an advocate for underrepresented composers led him to create the Institute for Composer Diversity. And that's a program I wasn't familiar with. We'll discuss that a little bit if we have time as well. Gentlemen, I want to begin by just asking you this question. Perhaps President Collison can answer this. The liberal arts and music are widely accepted as essential and powerful fields with unmatched potential for bettering our communities and for society's well-being and for helping students develop their own goals in life. And the positive impact of the arts can, on mental health, for example, are incalculable. At the same time, we know all too well that the arts and those who work in the arts are facing challenges. Music education is being cut in the schools, budgets are being cut, and then particularly in the aftermath of the pandemic, all those challenges have just been amplified. So I'm wondering, President Collison, what do you see as your schools and your art department's roles in addressing some of those challenges?
Certainly. Thank you so much for what I consider to be a very important question, especially in the context in which we live today. It's about relevance. When the question actually come down to that. Here at SUNY Fredonia, we find this to be a very viable tradition on our part. This is part of the fabric of our institution. And not only that, we prepare our students to go out and be successful in the field, but also to be advocates of the arts. And so we give it a very high priority. We also train our students to be connected so that when they are out as professionals, they are also connecting with people who can influence the decisions at the national level, at the regional level, and at the state level. So through advocacy and through various connections, we do everything we can to make sure that these areas remain very, very relevant to the education of our students, and not only that, for preparing young people throughout this country.
Right. And Dr. Deemer, this concert in particular is being produced under the auspices of SUNY at Fredonia. How do you see this concert, this particular concert, as important to furthering these goals, and how is the university participating directly?
Sure. So this concert is kind of a collaboration between the university, the School of Music, as well as the Western New York Chamber Orchestra, as well as other organizations as well. And I think that's part of one of the important parts of it is the fact that you're collaborating. We tell our students a lot that collaboration between themselves and others is important, But this is very useful as kind of a model to be able to show this is how the university can work with their community, as well as the fact that this particular concert is integrating musicians from all over the world, from China and from France and Israel, as well as the United States. And, in order to be able to demonstrate to our own students and our own community that what happens here in a relatively small community in Fredonia can actually have large impacts around the world, I think this is a really good model for that.
And will students have an opportunity to attend this concert? And I wonder what their reaction will be, because if I'm not mistaken, the students the people who are performing are pre-college. I think many of them. Many of them. I think some are. I think it's a mixture of pre-college and college. I wonder if they'll be inspired by seeing these brilliant musicians soloing with your orchestra.
I think so. We've had a number of other types of examples like that. We do a number of types of events like this, and especially when we can bring folks here, from out of state or even from out of the country to be able to do that. That's always inspiring to our musicians.
Right. And Dr. Kolison, how do you envision this concert in the larger picture of what you're trying to accomplish at SUNY Fredonia?
Yes. So I see this concert as a tremendous opportunity for students to learn. I think that add on to what we provide to them on the campus. I also see it as an opportunity for students to network. Again, part of our mission is for our students to be connected not only locally but regionally and globally. So anytime we have an opportunity to bring such accomplished artists to the campus, I think it's a tremendous opportunity for our students to learn and to connect, and so that in the future they can network with people of this caliber.
And when you mention networking, it's interesting because this concert, as you know, is being produced by Virtual Concert Halls, and it will be viewed by anybody around the world who has an opportunity to see it, because they're on Twitter and just about every platform you can think of. So it's a wonderful opportunity I think for SUNY Fredonia to extend its footprint really globally, and your students in particular will have a chance to witness it in person. So it's really an interesting opportunity. And Rob, as I indicated, or as I mentioned when I was introducing you, and I hope this isn't a digression, but could you tell us a little bit about this Institute for Composer Diversity? And as in your resume, it says you work as an advocate for underrepresented composers, and it led you to start the Institute for Composer Diversity. Tell us a little bit about that institute and what your goals are, what you do there.
Sure. So, really briefly, basically, this is a project that I started about 5 or 6 years ago. As a small project for my composition students here, to make sure that they know who initially women composers were, and then after that, composers of color. Basically, it started as a small spreadsheet list so that they could know who to look for, and that just kind of got much larger. And now it's actually the institute is a part of the university. It's sponsored by the university. And basically what we do is we provide online resources for folks to be able to search for music by composers who belong to what we usually term as underrepresented or historically excluded groups, such as women composers, non-binary composers, composers of color, and as well as analysis projects. We actually just did one in collaboration with the League of American Orchestras this last year, showing how programming across the country has really kind of spiked in the last few years in terms of composers like that, and or from those groups, and we seem to be having a bit of an impact on the musical community in that way.
That's really wonderful. I'd love to learn more about it. And then just to conclude our interview, I'm wondering if both of you could just comment on how you'd like to see, what you'd like to see as a response to your efforts for your school's community in general, but in particular in relation to the concert, which is taking place in a few days.
So for me, I'm hoping that this concert and the work we do here in the School of Music and in the Department of the Arts and so on, we inspire people and we create more support for the work in music and in the arts, basically. I think as we started from the beginning, we talk about the challenges that we have to deal with. Sometimes the more people understand and appreciate what is happening, I think then you get more support out in the public, and you get more support, from others who could be powerful advocates for this area of work. And so I'm hoping that all of this helps to inspire our community and people who will come to the concert and also be supporters of the work we do.
Rob, any closing comments about this?
Yeah, I would just say that it's indicative of how broad Fredonia's music program is, that we're able to both collaborate with these various organizations as well as bring in artists from around the world. Even though Fredonia, as I mentioned, is a relatively small community in Western New York, it actually has a very large footprint in the musical community, and I think it's wonderful to see that reflected in this concert.
Well, gentlemen, thank you for your time. Good luck at the concert. I'm very eager to listen to it and watch it myself via virtual concert halls. And I thank you again for your time and your participation. Good luck with the concert.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.